Step 5, I'm going to open up the calendar and I'm going to look at the solar day. Solar day is just a fancy name for civil day or the weekday that you're already familiar with, okay? In move-in elections, we want to avoid Sunday and Tuesday. Sunday and Tuesday are connected to the fire element. When moving into a new house or getting married, in addition to that, we don't ever want to use Sunday or Tuesday simply because the fire element, that Agni Tattva, is too strong. Okay, so that leaves us with Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday being the most supportive weekdays. Saturday is acceptable. It's not restricted. It's okay to use Saturday. Now, after we've looked at the solar day, the weekday, I'm going to look at the lunar day here. Now, the lunar day is the phase of the moon. So just like a solar month has 30 days, a lunar month also has 30 days or 30 phases, okay? Now, in most elections in Vedic astrology, we prefer the waxing fortnight, okay? In the move-in election, we will prefer the waxing fortnight, but we can use the waning fortnight up until the 10th day. Okay, now after the 10th day or the 10th Tithi, Sanskrit word for lunar day, we are not going to have any move-in elections simply because the moon is going to be too dark during that time. So those 5 or 6 days leading up to the new moon, and then while the moon is still invisible, we're not going to use. But the rest of the month is good, especially if it's in the waxing fortnight. In addition to that, we're avoiding what's called Rikta Tithis. These are considered to be the malefic lunar phases of the month. We're also going to try to avoid Ashtami, the 8th day of the fortnights as well. So that leaves us with this list here of most supported Tithis, S2, S3, S5, S6, and so on. S is our nomenclature here for the waxing fortnight. Shukla means the bright half in Sanskrit, and K is our nomenclature for the dark half, or Krishna, which means dark. So we get a little over half of the lunar month is acceptable for this election, okay? Things to watch out for within those solar and lunar day recommendations that we just saw. I also want to make sure I'm avoiding what is called Vyatipata and Vaidhriti Yoga. These are 2 of the 27 Nitya or Panchanga yogas that will show up in the calendar. So if you're using an app like Drik Panchanga or Devaguru or Cosmic Insights, make note that you are avoiding Vyatipata and Vaidhriti Yoga as well as Vishtikarana. We never want to move into a new house during Vishtikarana. So once we've got all that together and we've found an acceptable day, I'm going to start to look at the more specific time of the day and choose the ascendant or the rising sign, okay? Our favored rising signs for a move-in muhurta are obviously going to be those fixed signs because they support being in that place for a long period of time, right? Dual signs are also acceptable. However, movable signs are prohibited simply because the energy just isn't, it isn't conducive to staying in a house for an extended period of time, okay? Ideally, we will also favor the signs of the zodiac that are 3rd, 6th, 10th, or 11th from the natal moon and or the natal ascendant position. So in the case of Sylvi here, I believe your natal moon was in Scorpio. Was that correct?
Yep, and my ascendant is Cancer.
Ascendant is Cancer. So we're going to see if we can line up one of these recommended ascendants, either fixed or dual, not movable, with this 3, 6, 10, or 11th position from her moon or her ascendant, okay? So native is a Cancer ascendant, Third from Cancer is Virgo, sixth from Cancer is Sagittarius, 10th from is Aries, and 11th from is Taurus. From her moon, Capricorn is third from Scorpio, Aries is sixth, Leo is 10th, and Virgo is 11th. Okay, so these are going to be our most ideal rising signs. I removed the movable signs because they're not recommended for this election. They might be good for something else, like putting up a new website or doing something business related. But for here, moving into a new house, we really don't want to use those movable signs. Okay,
and can I just say real quick too that so
yes.
movable signs would be what in Western astrology we would call cardinal signs. If anybody is
Cardinal signs.
Yeah.
Excellent. Cardinal signs. So we're not using those cardinal signs. We're preferring the fixed and dual. Is that the terminology that you guys use as well? Or
dual would be called mutable.
Mutable, right? Fixed and mutable. Okay. So Taurus is our fixed, Leo is fixed, and then Virgo and Sagittarius are our dual or mutable signs. So these are going to be our 4 preferred signs. Let's see if we can find something with them. Okay. So step 7, once you've looked at the calendar, you found your solar day, lined up with your lunar day, lined up with your nakshatra, you are looking specifically for one of those rising signs with the planets ideally in these recommended placements. Okay, so for this move-in election, I am favoring benefics and angles, trines, second house, third house, and 11th house. So a lot of different places benefics can be. Essentially, we don't want benefics in what we call the dark or Dusthana houses, right? 6th, 8th, or 12th. Any place else, benefics are good to go. On the other hand, we will prefer malefics in the 3rd, 6th, and 11th house only. Again, ideally, we do the best we can here. The most important part of this election is to make sure that the significator house is empty. Now, in this case, because she is moving into a new house, that makes the 4th house itself the significator house, because the 4th house represents the home, right? The natural sign of Cancer. So the 4th house is the significator house. Ideally, it should be empty in our election, okay? That said, we will also prefer the significator planet, in this case, the moon, to not be transiting the 4th, 8th, or 12th position from her natal moon as well, okay? Makes sense? So, once we found our solar day, our lunar day, our nakshatra, and an ascendant, ideally, last but certainly not least, we should try to find a time in the morning time. The scripture recommends that the best time to move into a new house would be just after sunrise up until midday. So morning time is going to be our preferred time, where we enter into the house and we say our our intentions for being there, and we light a little candle. Maybe we say a prayer or a ritual or make an offering to the the deity of the house or the land, and then at that time we can light the stove in the kitchen for the first time, and ideally cook something nice to serve our guests and enjoy our housewarming celebration. Make sense?